We saw Blade Runner, but I'll probably defer to you.
Oh, I heard you guys saying that was shit.
Yeah,
No.
what a terrible movie.
Well, that's what the box office says.
Yeah, that is what the box office said. They said the same thing about Arrival. No, they didn't.
And Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Wow, you just kneecapped yourself.
Well, it's the same director.
Arrival had a much smaller budget, though.
Did it?
Yeah.
This is small for what it was, but it was still a fucking, anyway.
This will also lead into my downfall because with all this food,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm just like, saw this movie.
You know why.
I don't know.
Because Crime Tina ordered up a bottle of wine.
Which I really wanted.
And
seen Blade Runner 2049, a 3-hour movie at 11:15 p.m.
With a bottle of wine.
Bottle of red wine resulted in me falling asleep for a good 10 minutes in the middle of Blade Runner.
Well, that's not what I expected. I
Both
thought
of
it was
them.
like I had to go to the bathroom. You fuck guys?
No.
they both passed out, unfortunately. And I remember because when we were...
Not to any fault of the movie. Well, partially because the soundtrack is so fucking soothing.
It's some soothing, comfy, synthy shit.
It literally, and
It's
there's
some
so little
soothing
dialogue
shit. Yeah.
and so little action.
Jeez, Grandpa, you're falling asleep in theaters now?
Well, after a whole bottle of wine, yeah.
I was on the edge of my seat for a lot of it, and I remember.
So you weren't falling asleep?
I was not. I was wide awake, and I remember there was a moment where I literally edged of my seat, gasped, oh, this is doing stuff. I've been tweeting about it all weekend because
I've seen it
because I can't stop thinking about it because I just really, really enjoyed it, and I went in with such low expectations because one, of course, tons of modern
classic.
Tons of modern sequels to old classics right now. Unnecessary. Why bother? Right? Total Recall came and went.
Oh boy, did it.
RoboCop came and went.
Sure did.
Admittedly, was more entertaining than I expected.
That one body horror scene is
Fantastic.
nightmarish.
There's one part in RoboCop that is super amazing.
It's a nightmare.
And it's strong
And
on its
Michael
own.
Keaton is good in it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, modern remakes, whatever, right?
But when you tell me this is directed by the director of Arrival, which was also similarly very slow paced, zero action,
Yeah.
and very understated, I knew what I
not
was
zero
getting
action.
into.
There's action, but it's not over the top action. It's really understated action.
There's short action sequences,
Right.
also.
Yeah. There's a climactic battle. There's a fight scene of just punches and chokes. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna get you.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
We don't have to go fancy with it. We're just I'm just stopping you.
It's a nice mundane action scene.
And it's tense because you're like, fuck,
And
but
it's kind of reveling in its mundanity.
that's all it is.
Unlike the ending of, say, Police Knots,
Sure.
which does not.
It does all the things you'd expect that link it to the original. It's got the similar soundtrack. It's got the similar shots, the similar setting that really, really takes its time to show you the world, establishing shots. You see life happening. You see how the Blade Runner universe.
There's whole sequences that are devoid of dialogue.
Just trying to show you the world. And it does it really nicely because that's the strongest part of the original is the setting. Now, it's no secret that I'm not a huge fan of the original. I'm one of the people that didn't enjoy it outside of the really awesome setting and idea.
I am very much in the same exact boat as you.
Now, I know that the director's cut apparently is better.
I appreciate it, but I don't particularly like it.
There you go.
There's the cut. There's the director's cut. Then there's the final cut.
Okay.
Never forget.
Right. There's multiple cuts. And I know for a fact that a Ridley Scott movie cut the right way can make or break.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about Kingdom of Heaven.
Yes. Absolutely.
The difference between a 2 and an 8.
Yeah.
Out of 5.
But Blade Runner 2049, which is what we're discussing here, I just loved it. I loved it, and I really think it's worth checking out. It's not doing well in the box office, but it's also been for one weekend.
As a point of curiosity, 2049 is what compared to the original?
30 years later.
30?
30 or 20. Yeah, 30 years.
Okay.
30
so it's
years.
a couple decades.
Now, yes, because the original is 2019. The other thing was I don't think you have to see the original to see the sequel.
I can't see that. The original doesn't have a huge amount of...
Because
there's a character or two.
No. There's
where
callbacks. Make no mistake. There's callbacks in there, but
they're less effective callbacks if you haven't seen the first one. But you don't have to enjoy it.
You lose a bit of garnish, but it's not the way you reacted with Nier, for example.
Yes.
Right?
Which is funny because on the surface there are incredibly similar situations in which, they're about robots and shit.
I'm putting that out there because I do feel that's the case. I'm not saying don't do it. Mm-hmm. If you have the ability to go in with more knowledge, do so. Mm-hmm. But if you're thinking about it from a point of view of like, I don't know, I'm lazy and I don't want to bother with the original or whatever the case is, there is enough in 2049 to be fully enjoyable without catching the callbacks because they you get up to date on things. They tell you what this is and who that is and what that was about.
For Nier, like in particular, there's like a couple moments of like abject confusion and at least one like gut punch that you lose.
Sure.
You just lose.
Yeah, here you get like, again, you get to see like, okay, cool, this is probably referencing something back then or whatnot. But anytime you go like, oh, well, what was that about? The answer, you do get an answer to those moments.
It's like a minute later.
What you don't get answers to is like the more interesting philosophical questions, But
hey, what's the deal with replicants?
Yeah. And I love...
Are they people?
Yeah, and I love how like it steamrolls past that whole... That thing and Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep are like the basic introduction of human-like behavior in robots. Mm-hmm. You steamroll past that. You're like, dude, we're way beyond that bullshit. Get your Turing test out of here.
Yeah,
we're going to like level 4.
Yeah,
with these questions, you know what I mean? Like we're on a level where we've already accepted most of the idea that these things are basically life.
Yeah.
Now what?
It's like that question's quaint. What about the unfortunate realities of the extrapolation of that question?
And and it really takes the time to explore these themes, and I think it's like holy shit better than the original by such a huge margin.
What's interesting though is that you say you don't like the original. I'm kind of ambivalent. I've seen a good amount of people that I follow on Twitter say the exact opposite. They like the first one, and they go, "This one completely misses the mark for me."
It's divisive. Bladerunner is a divisive franchise.
But I don't know why.
It's going to be that way because they're different. I hear that they are different types of movies.
I mean, they're similar, but it does ask different questions. One thing I'll say that like I kind of prefer in the original, but this is more of an aesthetic choice, is that when I think of the original, close my eyes, it is dark and it's raining the entire time.
It is.
And I kind of miss that. There's a raining scene towards it later, but I kind of feel 24/9 is like arid and dry and empty.
So one of the things that is a cool, like, if you saw the original, you enjoy this, is all those nighttime establishing shots of the city when they're flying over, you get daytime versions, for example. Because
it's easy to mask the size of a world when it's dark.
Yeah. So you get to see things like that. You go, oh, cool, that's similar to how that shot was, but that's about it, right? But then there's more for you there. Anyway, Harrison Ford...
that, by the way, that's where I fell asleep.
Yeah.
After he lurches in, I started not being as
Harrison Ford's
he was using his sleep powers on
But I didn't like his performance in the original. I thought he was one of the weekends. And I think this is much better, much stronger.
I liked Ryan Gosling in this more than I liked Harrison Ford in either role.
You would like Ryan Gosling in anything more than Harrison Ford in anything, because Ryan Gosling is big old amazing and lovely.
Robin Wright is fantastic.
To be fair, though, Ryan Gosling, like... If you played sound bits and I closed my eyes and you played them from Drive, Only God Forgives, I really couldn't tell the difference. He does play the same
He does
thing.
like that sound.
And he does it well. It's just that he doesn't really have, much variation.
I will say that, is it Leto or Leto?
Jared Leto.
Who cares?
Leto.
Joker.
Jared's his way into the movie.
Oh, he's in there?
And
he's in there for 2 scenes.
He's not there for much, but Jared's it. And
did he go method for this one?
He probably did.
What a jackass.
The thing is, I haven't seen a ton of Jared Leto movies.
Have you listened to a lot of his band?
No.
30 Seconds to Mars.
I'm trying to think. Have I ever seen one?
You probably have. You never bothered to see Suicide Squad.
No, and I didn't see the movie about the guy who shot Lennon.
There was a movie he was with Matthew McConaughey, but I doubt you saw that. He was also in Alexander, the one with Colin Farrell.
Didn't do it. I might have never seen one.
Okay.
I might have never seen one.
So all you know about him is that he was a massive jackass when filming Suicide Squad.
Well, anyway, he's the only thing in this movie that you might go like, nah. All right, dude. You know,
I don't know. I thought he was fine,
but that's what I'm saying. It's clearly like trying to do a thing, but it was not offensive. It was like, all right, you're attempting something here.
And Batista showing up too.
Yeah, Batista.
He was actually really, really good for his short.
It didn't break my immersion because I was like still.
He looked like shit too.
Yeah. But
it made him look like crap.
But with Jared, I was able to I'm still in. I
also really like the chick that played his girlfriend, Ryan Gosling's girlfriend.
Yes.
I forget her name. I seen her in something, but she's very cute.
So, and without any spoilers whatsoever, I don't even want to hint at it, but like there was a moment that like, whoo boy, it
got you.
It gets me.
I know which part you mean.
Because you want to talk, like when you're talking about AI and you're talking about robots and replicants, all that. You're getting into Uncanny Valleys, all right?
Yeah.
But there's different kinds of Uncanny Valleys that you might not be aware of.
Yeah.
And so the one that you're thinking about right off the bat is visually that looks like a person, but close that it's uncomfortable.
Thinking of that one.
There's other Uncanny Valleys that I've never been exposed to, that I was exposed to for the first time in this, and my heart skipped a beat because I was like freaking out.
Yeah, it's the future, man. Get in it.
Right? It was just the most, it was a really incredibly uncomfortable feeling. And the fact that I felt that unique feeling is part of what I liked so much about this too. So I'm just, that's about it. Like tons of praise and glowing reviews from me. I really hope people go to see it because, it's definitely modern audience poison because it's slow. It's meandering. It's subtle. It's not over the top. It's
a good movie.
And it's 2 hours. Off a cult thing that never made a lot of money.
Right? And it's 2 hours and 45 fucking minutes long. This is audience kryptonite. This is 2017 audience kryptonite. Make no mistakes about it. Fury Road was big and huge because it was a big, explosive, fun movie that people love nowadays. And
and even then, it was too slow for some people.
Sure. But like, in addition to being like a cool like addition to the Mad Max world, it was like full of all the things people love, high octane, and the fact that there's few words and and whatnot was just like, who cares? Look at that big explosion, and this is not that. But
there's not a lot of dialogue, and also nothing's happening.
How many shooting gunfights, big explosion car chases are there?
A handful.
Oh,
I'd say less than that. I'd say like 2.
Is the biggest gunfight in that smaller than the big gunfight?
There are more tense conversations than tense gunfights.
Yeah. Tense conversations are the real battles.
Yeah, lots of dudes staring at each other going, Mrr.
Lots of that.
Yeah.
Lots of thinking about or robot emotions.
Oh man.
What do you do with those?
You ignore them because they're not real and they don't matter.
You're going to like this movie. You're going to like this movie so much. So, yeah.